Welcome to Nale Yoga. My name is Ruthie Eisenberg, and today I'm speaking with a very special guest who I'm so excited to have on the show. We have with us today Diana Esther Berschader, and she has a fascinating life journey, an incredible story to tell. I'm not going to ruin it for you guys so that you can listen to her and I think you'll really learn a lot from her. She's a coach, she's a healer, she's a poet, and is really somebody who's done a lot of healing and work on herself. So without further ado, why don't we just jump right in? And I'm curious if you can share. Well, first of all, Diana Esther, welcome to the show. I'm so
Thank
happy
you.
that you're here.
Thank you. I'm honored to be with you, especially talking from London to Israel at the most difficult time.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yes.
sending lots of wisdom, sending lots of light and protection and healing into the land of Israel and every soldier and every person who is there.
Amen. Amen. Thank you so much from your heart to mine and to this land. Um, so let's get started with you sharing a bit about your story and how you went from Soviet Russia to where you are today and all the wonderful work that you're doing.
Thank you. My life journey, it's quite intense. And at the time when I was born in Soviet Union, till now, it has been lots of changes. And my soul went on very intense and very deep spiritual journey of awakening without me knowing anything about it. I was born at the time of Soviet Union, at the time of Cold War and separation in the most beautiful city that called Odessa. At the moment is Ukraine, but it used to be one country. So in my heart, Ukraine is still part of one country. It's not separated. People that used to live there had a very positive outlook at life. And doesn't matter what happened during their life journey, they always met with smile on their face, with joke and with laughter within its heart. But unfortunately, during that era, children as myself was deprived very much from spending enough time with our parents because they had to work long hours from morning to night. They have to make living. But it was not only deprival of seeing my parents, it was also emotional deprival of connecting with love, with care. And my soul was born to feel joy and happiness in life, which unfortunately I never experienced during my childhood time. But regardless, my soul was pushing me from inside to express the love that I always felt. And it was locked inside of me, like living in prison. So I wanted to become a ballerina. I wanted to dance. I enjoyed music because it wasn't that much that we could enjoy during our childhood time. We had no toys, we had no luxuries, we had no entertainment as children have today. No communication because we were little and we were not included in whatever grown-ups used to do. So we were very much secluded and living life of our own, especially not having siblings or toys or pets to play with. So unfortunately, my parents, not because they weren't loving, but because they could not understand me and couldn't understand my inspiration and my needs to express myself, I was deprived of learning how to dance, becoming a ballerina. I was deprived of playing musical instruments. I was deprived of study acting, which I always wanted to. So my soul felt pain of not expressing its love and not living its purpose, which I knew obviously nothing about it at that time. So one night I was taken into the hospital with excruciating stomach aches. And the pains were so strong that I felt I'm going to die. Because at the time we didn't even have a proper painkillers to help with the pain. And doctors wanted to operate on me. They thought I'm having an acute appendicitis. That's why I feel I'm dying. And luckily enough, they didn't. So they established after a few days of thorough examination that I have chronic disease of liver and gallbladder, which was unheard of for the child of my age. And since that moment, I've been suffering with this illness almost all the time until the age of 15. And one night, lying in the hospital bed, being completely alone, in excruciating pain, feeling that I'm about to die, I heard the whispers for the first time in my life. And those whispers put so much trust into my heart that everything is going to be well and I'm not going to die. They give me so much strength and they boost my spirit from within in such way that death could not change the way of my destiny. Since that moment, I had no understanding what kind of voice was it, what kind of whisper was. But I put my whole trust as a child into it in a way that it helped me out of many challenging situations ever since my childhood and up until now. That's how I live my life. I live my life with an inner trust into my spirit because my spirit is my guiding light. And everything I teach and everything I help others with, it's to find this connection, to find these strengths inside that are infinite, that are powerful, that can change our life 360 degree and make our life more joyful, more easy, and more powerful without us putting any effort into it. Because the way that we block ourselves usually is by trying to control the situation without understanding that everything in our life was divinely orchestrated. There is a reason for everything, for every negative experience, for every positive experience. And if we're denying ourselves this trust, we're feeling that lives become hard, unjust, and we end up feeling victimized and feeling small and not capable of change anything. We're trying to change our life using all the external resources without understanding that everything we ever need, it's all within us.
Mm-hmm.
And unless we create this connection to our soul, we cannot win the game of life because life is a game and we are part of it. We are the children that are playing hide and seek. And that's how it has been created to begin with. Life was meant to be joyful and happy experience, but instead it became very hard, very negative, and not fulfilling experience for most of us.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes. And I really resonate with what you're saying. Also having come from Russia as well, and having family who lived through the Soviet times. Um, when, religion and spirituality was out of the question. I really resonate with this, feeling you're describing of you have this beautiful spirit and this beautiful self that the environment, it just cannot contain that creative, that expansive spirit, that self energy. And there's no language for it, and there's no one to talk to about it. How confusing is that? It's a huge part of you that just is not, there's no space for it at all. And it's so amazing how you were able to, on your own, connect to that self energy, that part of you, that very genuine, authentic, creative, curious, compassionate, soulful part of you, just on your own. Most people, even who don't live in Soviet Russia, really struggle with this. And we're cluttered by so many noises, so much noise in the world, distractions, other people's voices. It's interesting for me to hear how this whisper, you heard it when you were in the hospital during a very excruciating time. And I'm wondering, what do you think it takes to hear these whispers of the soul that you heard? Is it even possible to hear all of these whispers when you're, in the middle of Times Square with all the noise around us?
We have always two voices within us.
Mm-hmm.
One voice comes from our head,
Mm-hmm.
which is always very loud and very noisy because that's how we were brought up. We learned how to live from our head. But our mind was meant to keep us safe. And our mind was meant to keep us in survival mode. That's how it was created since the very beginning. But our heart speaks in whispers. And if our mind is very, very loud, it usually blocks the whispers of the heart. Not because the heart is not speaking, because heart cannot be heard through this amount of noise.
Mm-hmm.
Especially it can be thoughts, it can be doubts, it can be loud music, loud environment, loud voice. It
Mm-hmm.
can be all these little things that we use on a daily basis without understanding. We learn how to
Right.
live. We learn how to live from our head. I'm not saying that our mind is not important. It's very important. We have brilliant mind. If the mind is serving the heart and they align as one source, then we are unbeatable. Then we are unstoppable. And then we become truly the people we were born to live, living our destiny.
Mm-hmm.
Because every part of us, it's part of the whole. And you cannot separate perfectly and say, my mind is separated, my heart is separated. Everything supposed to work in harmony with each other.
Mm-hmm.
But if it doesn't, and people usually know nothing about the heart, because that's how it is. That's how our lifestyle, environment, and learning teach us to study, to absorb all the teachings through our mind and absolutely disregards the heart. And only the time when the heart is aching with pain and cannot keep going any longer, they become to feel pain inside of the heart.
Mm-hmm.
So what we do, we're going to medical practitioners, we're checking our blood pressure, we're making operations, we're taking painkillers, we do everything possible by simply putting Band-Aid on the issue that we never addressed.
Mm-hmm.
And the only reason why our heart is aching because it's trying to find the way to connect with us, trying to be heard. Because we're simply blocking the whispers of our heart and not letting our heart to speak, to awaken us from within. And this is a major issue, and most of the people don't even think this way and don't even hurt anything of the kind, because I'm a great believer that underneath any medical issues that we have, regardless how old we are, there is always unexpressed emotion that wanted to be heard, that wanted to be accepted, and that wanted to teach us something. So we can evolve and we can make life, and it will make our life so much more easier and so much more joyful. But because we don't think of our heart as an organ that has so much wisdom and can heal, can evolve, it has actually infinite amount of knowledge that it's completely locked inside of us without us even understanding what heart is all about. Heart, it's not just an organ pumping blood.
That's for sure.
Yes, heart is a portal to infinite world, to galaxies and stars and everything that God has ever created. This is our connection to the whole. And if this door is locked and closed, there is no way. Doesn't matter how much we study, how much we read. Doesn't matter what we think of ourselves. If this door is closed, we are limited. The moment we open this door, just a tiny bit, and the light will stream inside and help us to release everything that has been there, maybe not even for one lifetime, but for many lifetimes. Help us to heal and help us to evolve. And that is the reason why we are here anyway. We didn't come to this world just to eat, to drink, to fight wars, to have children, and to die. We came here to evolve. We came here to bring heaven down to earth and to create this world, the best place in the universe.
Yes, what you're saying is so beautiful and really, lands so well. Why do you think so many people have a hard time paying attention and listening to the heart? There's this listening to the heart, tuning into the body, slowing down, practicing yoga nidra or meditations. It opens a whole nother world to layers of experience that otherwise you might not even know exist. Um, but why do you think people just do everything possible to continue being distracted and everything possible to avoid paying attention? Do you think it's intention? It's unconscious? Do you think there's something scary about it? What are your thoughts?
I think it's very interesting subject, and I was thinking about it myself for a long time, and I arrived to a conclusion that people scared of silence. People don't understand that external noise is created for distraction of any sorts. Anything that takes our attention away from ourselves and from our heart, it's destructive. Because if this world would be already perfect, which it cannot be, we didn't come to this world to make it perfect. We came to this world to create balance, to learn how to create balance, to understand the differences of distraction, and to understand what is the requirements for us to connect to our soul, to God within, to infinite knowledge, to become powerful co-creators with God. Because we learn that sound is distinction of life. Like, as long as we hear something, we are alive. And silence somehow connected to death. I feel people unintentionally scared of silence.
Mm-hmm.
And silence is the only way to connect to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
When you are away from the destructive noise of others and of life and creating more chaos and more busyness, as long as we are focused on external, there is no way we can connect to our heart and to hear the heart.
Mm-hmm.
Because the only way we find at least a minute, 2 minutes of connection, we cannot possibly hear those whispers. And it usually comes at the moment when something dramatic happens. It's
Mm-hmm.
either illness or depression
Mm-hmm.
or a moment of loss,
Yeah.
and you are with your emotions and with your silence. And
Mm-hmm.
this is the moment when those inner whisper trying so hard to reach your consciousness, to help
Mm-hmm.
you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's almost like when the body is forced into silence through
Exactly.
through illness or through external circumstances that that this very intelligent deeper consciousness can finally whisper and has more of an opportunity to be heard. And it's so interesting what you're saying about silence uh, being scary and for a lot of people, and also silence being the pathway towards healing, um, and towards really listening to those whispers of the heart. What this makes me think of is in the practice of yoga nidra, this is exactly what we are training to do, to find safety and comfort in a space of silence when we close our eyes to not have visual distractions. We're totally still. We don't have distractions from moving around. There is no noise other than the facilitator's voice. So and even that gets less and less. So it really helps the system train of how to feel safety in that silence. Um, I think, I think a lot of times that and I'm speaking for myself here too. I used to be terrified of just meditating and being in a moment of quiet with no external distractions. Thoughts would start coming, judgments, distractions, all kinds of stuff. But then when you really reach that moment of silence, on one hand, there could be something scary about confronting yourself and your own shadows, because in silence, there is also darkness, and it is a space where the shadows can emerge, and there could be something scary about confronting them. But at the same time, no shadows, no light. And there's also something very beautiful, healing, and peaceful about making friends with the shadow parts of ourselves that are that can emerge from this darkness and silence. And really be that pathway of integrating the light and the dark together. So, um, I know that you are, I know that you have a lot of things to say about light as well, being that that's one of the themes in your book. So, I'm wondering if you have anything to comment on what I just shared.
Yes,
And
definitely.
okay,
Definitely.
okay, go
Uh,
for it.
yes. First of all, I want to say regarding meditations,
Yeah.
many people have understanding that meditation takes a lot of practice, takes a lot of time, and they simply don't have time for it.
Mm-hmm.
The life is busy. Okay.
Sure.
I look at it from a different point of view. The platform that I created, based on the teachings of the diamond within,
Mm-hmm.
because I didn't set the story that it was, it was back in the 80s. I studied diamond business.
Mm-hmm.
And during the time of my studies, I learned everything about diamonds and colored stones. And I fall in love with diamond. I felt there is something special about it. But unfortunately, I never made business out of it. I tried it for some time, but it was time of economical depression and businesses was closing down. So all this profession got somehow delayed and forgotten at that time. When just before I was about to write the book, the vision came to my consciousness that we are the human diamonds and that we came here from rough to polished to flawless, to polish every facet of our life in order to become beautiful and brilliant as diamond. But because there are many different kinds of diamond, you've got commercial grade, which is mainly maybe 90% of the people on this planet. And then you have more valuable grades coming to flawless, which is internally and externally beautiful blue-white diamond, which we all have within us anyway, but we know nothing about it. We came here to polish every side of life, every side of our consciousness, regardless how much time it takes. So talking about meditations, I just wanted to say that meditations to me are multifaceted. There are many different ways of meditating.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, meditation is life. Life is constant meditation. If
Mm-hmm.
you look at life, whatever you do, when you're cooking, when you're singing, when you're playing, when you're walking, when you're doing any kind of job, if you look at whatever activities you perform as a meditation,
Mm-hmm.
you live meditation and you will experience changes in many different areas of your life. Because only if you do it consciously, if you don't do it robotically, as most of the people do, and I give you a very interesting experience that I went through recently. If we take, for instance, cooking, most of the people, especially women, do cook at home, and some men love cooking as well. So cooking, it's something to me as a sacred ritual, because whatever we take inside affect everything what we are, except affect our health, affect our thoughts, affect our communication with others, and our relationships. So when you cook and you infuse at the special spice, love from your heart, when you cook with total love, with total gratitude for all the ingredients in your cooking, thanking God and Mother Earth,
Mm-hmm.
thanking everybody who is involved in the process, cooking this with spice of love, and then giving this food to others, you actually not only changing your consciousness, you're helping to the world around you to evolve. But if even during the cooking process, somebody distracts you, somebody make you angry, or you do it because you have to, because you feel
Mm-hmm.
pressure, it
Mm-hmm.
creates completely different environment. So every kind of experience
Mm-hmm.
can be a beautiful meditation experience that helps you to evolve and makes you the world around you to evolve. Or it can be destructive. It can create more separation. It can actually create illness, because every negative emotion it's part of the illness process.
Mm-hmm.
People always trying to heal even body from the outside,
Mm-hmm.
looking at the body parts as totally separated. But even if you have pain in your little finger, the whole body is suffering.
Absolutely.
Okay, so to me, meditation, life is a meditation. And if you look at it, you always have time for it because you're always doing something.
That's right. And we're always connected to our breath. We're always connected to our experience. I like to think of what you're describing. The image that comes to me is like a mandala where we're always involved in something. We're always moving through life. We might as well be in the present moment and doing that consciously. And thank you for sharing about, the cooking is something that I would rather be doing something else all the time instead of cooking. So I needed to hear that, and it's very helpful for me to hear your perspective that yes, this can be more of a meditation, and I'm gonna try to bring that with me to the kitchen next time. So
And I can tell you something interesting.
yeah.
Since I start experimenting with it,
Hmm.
it's unbelievable. The food doesn't go off in your refrigerator.
Hmm.
I'm
Wow.
not joking. You
Wow.
can cook soup today and it
Yeah.
will be as fresh in 3 weeks' time.
Oh wow.
I was surprised and
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
shared with my husband, and my
Yeah.
husband said, maybe it's your fridge. I said, fridge is not recently purchased. It's quite old and it hasn't changed. It can only
Yeah.
hold
Maybe it's you.
less cooling.
Yes.
It was another experience. I was walking down the street in London and felt I want to have a little snack to eat. So I stopped next to a little Lebanese restaurant and takeaway shop and ordered salad and a little chicken shashlik.
Hmm.
And the food came quite fast. And as I was eating this chicken, which I eat meat quite seldom, but whenever my body wants something, I never deprive my body of anything. I started to eat, and it was the most delicious and juicy piece of chicken I've ever eaten. And I'm sitting and thinking to myself, I would love to know who the cook is.
Hmm.
And I would love, most probably, he put so much love in it because it is delicious. In a few moments, the gentleman appeared in the white hat and in the white suit, and I understood that he's a chef. So he asked me, do you like the food? I said, I love it. I want to know who cooked the food. He said, I did. And I put so much love in it.
Mm.
So it's fascinating how the universe acknowledges and bringing back to you just to make you aware that what you think and what you feel, it's absolutely correct.
Mm.
So
Yes.
you can just imagine if everybody would treat what they eat with love and with conscious understanding, we would become so much more healthier, so much more grateful, and it's actually connect us on completely different level.
Hmm.
Not because we have to, not because we're doing out of, I don't know, obligation, or because we have to make living and we open restaurant and we providing people with food, but out of love.
Hmm.
That's all it required from all of us. Everything you do, if you do any little action in your life and you infuse it with love, this will change the whole life experience. I just I just ask people, do not take my words, but try it. Just try it and see what will come out of it because it is magical.
Hmm.
Absolutely magical.
Hmm. Yes, and this can explain why my holiday meals taste so much better than Mondays and Tuesdays. Um, let's talk a little bit about this brilliant metaphor that you came up with of the diamond as a metaphor for the self, and it really is just such a brilliant metaphor. Um, for those of us who don't have much experience or knowledge of diamonds, I think everything that I know about diamonds is actually based on what you've shared and based on your book. So, can you share a little bit about diamonds and how are they similar to us? What are some of the parallels that really make this metaphor work so elegantly?
Yes, definitely. First of all, there is so much, we have so much in common with diamond. Diamonds and humans are karma based. And diamond, in order to become brilliant, went through billions of years of high pressure and exceptionally high temperatures. Every diamond has a story to tell, exactly as humans. And this story is in the form of inclusion. When you look at the diamond crystal, because diamond went from the carbon base into crystalline system. To become a crystal, it took billions of years of transformation, but not every piece of carbon became a diamond. Diamond had a choice. The same thing as us. We have a free will. And it's up to us to choose the life of transformation or to live life robotically, come and go and leave no trace after we passed away.
Mm-hmm.
Diamond story is in the form of inclusions. When you look at the diamond, that it's not as perfectly clear, you will see various things within the diamond. It becomes much more visible under the microscope, of course, or under magnifying glass. And every inclusion inside, it's a struggle. It's a diamond struggle. It's a diamond will to withstand all of it, regardless what it took to become brilliant, to become this piece of valuable, beautiful, magical gem. The same thing like us. All of us came here and we all have this story to tell. And in order for us to find the life we truly want, to live our purpose, it's part of our story to go through time of transformation, to go through time of learning and healing and going against our nature and trying to change ourselves in order to live the life we truly was born to live. But it's all to do with our choice. And we can't force anybody. We can't make everybody to live according to the spiritual rules or the rules of universe. We all came here on the different level of consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
And whether we know it or not, whether we've chosen or not, we're living our destiny. But it doesn't mean we cannot change our destiny.
Mm-hmm. That's such an empowering message. I and it also, when you're describing the diamond and the inclusions that it has, the struggles within the diamonds, it makes me think of, when we look at something from a high altitude perspective, from the outside, like a beautiful landscape. Everything looks so nice, so polished, so clear. When we look at a diamond, when I look at a diamond, um, I just, oh, this is pretty, but I don't see all the little imperfections because I'm not looking at it under a microscope. But then when we look at it under a microscope, or we see all of the struggles, all of the flaws. When we go to, a mountaintop and we zero in, there's thorns and there's rocks and debris and dirt, and it's not so perfect. And same thing with ourselves when we zero in and look at ourselves under the microscope, we start seeing all of these details and all of these imperfections that we might not see in other people that we're not looking at them under the microscope. So it's such a really empowering metaphor that you came up with. Um, eh, it's the diamond really reflects, our choices and how we can choose to look at ourselves and to uh, perhaps be okay and accepting of the flaws that we have while also paying attention to them. I'm actually curious as you were talking, the inclusions in the diamond, did they like over time, does the diamond become naturally more flawless and the inclusions work themselves out, or does more pressure need to happen to it? Or the inclusions that it has, do they just stay there and that's how it's going to be for that specific diamond? Um,
Okay.
can you
Uh, uh,
educate us a bit?
yes, I will explain a little bit more. Another thing that is identical with us, every human is unique and we all have our unique fingerprint. The same thing with diamond. Diamond has unique fingerprint and you cannot lose your diamond if you made a certification, if the diamond went through the expertise and you have this internal fingerprint available, you cannot lose your diamond because the formation of the stone is unique to a stone, the same as human being. What's happening with inclusions and why diamonds with more inclusion less valuable than the diamond completely without inclusions? When the light entered the diamond and hit the inclusion, it cannot travel freely through. It had to refract from different sides. So the diamond lose its brilliance.
Mm.
That's why the stone is less valuable.
Mhm.
The same thing with us. If we are standing on, if we are standing on the way of our destiny, just because we think lack of knowledge, lack awareness, lack understanding, we virtually blocking our light from shining from within.
Mm.
So it means our light cannot travel through. It will travel anyway. It have to be diffracted. It have to be deviated. So it will find the way out, but our journey will become more difficult, will become longer. It will finally arrive to a destination anyway, because that's how we are created. It cannot block our light completely. Otherwise we would not be alive. We're only alive because our heart and our light keep us alive,
Mm.
regardless what we think about it. So if we're blocking our life from within by resisting the life itself, it's like life will create issues. It can be health issues. It can be relationship issues. It can be anything. The moment we learn the lessons and the moment we can move forward, the passage become clear. But
Mhm.
with the diamond cannot become anything else but what he has already became. If the inclusions left within the diamond, it's not going to be dissolve or resolve with another millions of years. I
Mhm.
think it's, if you can compare to the level of consciousness of people, if people came on, let's say, if we look at life at the skyscraper and you're living on the ground floor, and the only way you can look at life from the ground floor vision, that's what you perceive and that's what you know. So in order for you to evolve as a conscious being, you have to move up higher.
Mhm.
So if you already moved up higher to the 10th floor, your vision becomes more expansive,
Mhm.
broader, and lets you see everything that was blocking your vision on the ground floor. The same thing with diamond. If the piece of the crystal went through a much longer process, most probably with a higher consciousness, because everything has consciousness, whether it's a crystal or a human being, everything that is alive has consciousness in it. Most probably that's what I think, that this piece of carbon evolved in a way of the higher mastery to become this flawless, exceptionally valuable gem, because there are very, very few internally and externally flawless diamonds in the world. That's why they're so expensive, because they're very rare. The same thing with people. You find that people of the higher consciousness that become masters of life and become teachers and become helping humanity to evolve, and there are very few of them. So everybody is a diamond, but there are different kind of diamonds. There are different grading system. So that's why it was very easy for me to create an online program helping people to evolve from zero up to the higher consciousness, wherever life will take them, in the language that they can understand, because I believe in simplicity. Life is complicated because very often it's expressed in the way that people cannot connect. And if you cannot connect to the meaning of what you're trying to understand, it will never stay with you. It will still be foreigner. You know, it's happened. I had a conversation with someone recently, and this woman said to me, you know, Diana, what you're trying to teach me and to tell me, I've heard many times over. Yes, I've read about it in the books. I went to hear the lectures. But the moment you say it, it just stayed in my heart. It just find connection with me. And I always say, if there is one sentence out of the whole book you read that connects you to the higher consciousness and open the little window in the universe, this book or teaching is priceless.
Yes, it only takes one sentence. Yes, and you're right. Rav Nachman of Breslov, he was a Jewish sage. He said that only the heart knows how to heal the heart, and we can read books, we can talk intellectually on a cognitive level, but at the end of the day, healing, I believe this, and this is also what you're saying as well, that it really does come from heart to heart, and it has to land on the heart and then distribute throughout the whole body. That's real healing.
I would like to read you some of my
Yes,
poetry.
yes, please do.
I think
was
it
going to
will
ask
be.
you at the end if you could share a poem, but let's do
Yeah.
it now.
Yes, I think it will be very much appropriate as we're talking about love.
Yeah.
This particular one called The Tapestry of Love.
Okay.
Life is the tapestry of love, creative force of living earth, the magic of the human soul, the spark of God that lives in all. When you connect to the force of light that lives within your sacred heart, you feel empowered and strong to live the life you truly want. And every cell inside yourself will keep you energized and well. And all the galaxies and stars will celebrate with you from far. The consciousness of God inside, the era of the golden light.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. I just want to take a moment for that to land.
If you want me to read one more time,
Yeah.
because I
I
stuck
really
on.
liked it. No, I really liked it. It was so good.
I've got
Maybe if
also,
you could read it, maybe if you could can you read another one?
yes, yes.
Okay.
Another one called Rise and Shine.
Okay.
I believe in inspiration.
Okay.
I believe in empowerment. I believe that everything that we read should not make us sad or
Yeah.
low, but should
Right.
bring our spirit up.
Yes. And for everybody who is listening to this podcast right now, I invite you, as Diana shares her next poem, if you're not driving, to just close your eyes as you're listening and let her words really land on you. Notice how they're landing on your body and on your heart.
Rise from the ashes of doubts and moods. Rise from the ashes of sadness and wounds. Rise from the world of hatred and fear. Refocus on love and feel lightness and cheer. Rise from conditions and old beliefs. Rise from the sadness and darkness you feel. Open your heart to the light that you are. Breathe in the air of blessings and love.
I really felt that. I really felt that like landing on my heart, and I felt my heart kind of like expanding a little bit. It's beautiful. Thank you for sharing.
And
So,
just
yeah,
one more poem I will
oh,
read for
sure.
you. It's
Okay.
called, I believe this one can help every day, every morning
Okay.
to raise your vibration.
Okay.
Good morning, the world. Good morning to all. My dreams are awakened. I feel happy and whole. I feel balanced and joyful. I feel grateful and loved to receive daily guidance from my precious heart. I am the creator of all that I want. I create every day with a love that is bold. I am precious and priceless, deeply valued and loved, beginning new day with an open heart. I feel cared for and guarded, and my heart sings with joy, shining diamond sparkle from my heart with the world.
Yeah, it was good. Thank you. I I feel like this poem really made me smile, and like I couldn't stop smiling. So good.
It's just beautiful. That's
Really
what we want.
beautiful. Yeah, it made me so happy. Thank you for sharing it. Um, Let me ask you also about um you I know we talked about this kind of throughout the conversation, but I wanted to ask you also about the role of pressure. You say no pressure, no polish, right? And I know that, based on what you've shared in your story, you've been through a lot of pressure. Mm, Um, there's a lot of listeners who are going through very tough, very stressful times, anxiety, insomnia, lots of pressure, wartime trauma, all kinds of stuff. Um, Sometimes, it may feel like the pressure is just too much, like it can't handle it. The system starts to collapse. And I'm wondering if you have any wisdom to share on this. Is it ever like too much pressure? Is there ever for a diamond so much pressure that it can't withstand it? What does it take for a diamond to withstand the pressure? And what do you recommend as humans to that maybe worked for some tools that worked for you that you can share with others who are struggling under the pressure?
Beautiful. The expression no struggle, no pressure, no diamond means that only through challenges we can really grow. If nothing is happening in our life and our life is just quiet and neutral and mundane, nothing happening. There is no growth. There
Mm-hmm.
is just a time of, I would call it existence. I know that people don't like challenges and scared of challenges, but challenges is lessons. It's something that we need to go through in order to evolve. There is no other way. And when we try to avoid challenges and we try to avoid pressure or don't know how to handle it, and it goes the wrong way, it creates disease, it creates issues, it creates usually illnesses. I went through lymphatic cancer myself, and with the help of God and my inner guidance, I heal my cancer. But the most important thing I want to say regarding it, first of all, don't look at challenges as a curse. Don't look at challenges as something negative. Look at challenges as something that will help you to remove whatever stands on your way of your brilliance, of your destiny, destiny that you were born to live, something that you don't even maybe know or connect to it yet. Challenges are meant to be part of our experience, and we cannot avoid them. Obviously, there are different ways to deal with challenges, and that can make challenge easier or harder on you. When something challenging comes my way, and it's usually our mind that doesn't want us to go through those challenges, keep on keeping us safe and taking us in circles. That's why there is a lot of inner pressure. That's why there is a lot of inner doubts, and there is a lot of stress building up on a daily basis. The moment we dropped in our heart and give ourselves a moment of rest, coming back to neutral, you may call it meditation, you may call it a moment of rest. When living you can't live under the pressure 24/7 because it becomes totally destructive. But in order to release this pressure, there is a meditation that I do for myself. When I discovered this meditation, it became my everyday diamond tool that helps me to come back to my balance, help me to empty everything within me that has been building, uh, creating stress, anxiety, negative feelings within me. Because the moment we drop from our mind to our heart, everything neutralizes. Because the light within the heart neutralizes all the darkness. In one of my books, I wrote, when you put the light on, when you switch the light on in one of the rooms, and there is a dark room next to it, the light travels into that room without any guidance. It just travels easily, and darkness have no power to switch off the light. On contrary, light completely dissolves the darkness.
Mm-hmm.
So if you look at your heart and you visualize your heart as a ball of light or the golden sun, whatever feels to you, you close your eyes and you visualize the light from the universe travels all the way through the crown of your head. You hold two hands on your heart.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? You take deep breaths
Mm-hmm.
on counts from 2 to 4, depending how easily you can use your breath. If, let's say, you're taking on a count of 4, you breathe in the diamond light
Mm-hmm.
comes from the universe that
Mm-hmm.
virtually travels through you. The reason why you hold two hands on your heart, because the moment you touch your heart, you create connection. physical connection. Very often when people meditate, they don't touch themselves and they simply rely on visualization, but not everybody is good with visualization.
Right.
The moment you know, even if you cannot visualize, but the moment you know that you're allowing the light to come through, because it's something that we allow to do. Light cannot travel without us allowing to travel through
Mhm.
us. And you keep your hands on your heart, you
Mhm.
create physical connection with your heart, allowing to be heard, to be felt.
Mm.
And when the light travels through your crown and through every part of your body, through every cell, every particle, clearing and cleaning all the darkness, all the doubts, all the anxiety, every negative thoughts, every fear, and you visualize as it black smoke that virtually leaves your body. And you do this 3 times, clearing and cleaning your entire body, your mind, body, and soul with a sparkling white diamond light.
Mm.
The moment you do that, it's like it takes you maybe a minute. Regardless where you are, you can stop driving, you can be in your bathroom, you can be wherever you are by lying, sitting, standing. The moment you close your eyes, you put the hands on your heart and you're visualizing the diamond light penetrating through the crown of your head and the other ball of light within your system. It clears everything. It resets all the pressure that has been building up until that moment. It just resets back to zero.
Mm.
So it will give you this chance to feel fresh and renewed for that moment. Otherwise, what's happening, the pressure keeps on building and building and building until it makes us ill and destroy us.
Mm.
And if we give ourselves a moment of reset, bringing all this anxiety and pain and fear, just releasing for that instant, for this 1 minute or 30 seconds, whatever it will take you, it brings us back to zero. It's like car that constantly driving on high speed. And then all of a sudden you put it on neutral. It's just rolling down without using any petrol.
Mm-hmm. I love that. Thank you so much for sharing. It's such a useful tool, and I'll be trying it, and I hope our listeners will too. Um, I know we need to, so as we start winding down for today, um, let me just ask you about your offerings and where people can find you. And of course, we'll include everything in the show notes as well.
Thank you. My platform called thediamondwithin.co.uk. It's an educational platform that consists of online program uh, consisting of 16 video film modules. I have my blog on my platform. You can purchase my books on my platform, or you can purchase them on Amazon. There are 2 books that both called The Diamond Within. One of them called From Rough to Polished to Flawless, and the second one called The Poetry of the Soul. So I also offer 1 hour free sessions,
Mm-hmm.
discovery sessions for people to get to know each other, to find the contact, to see how I can help them. Because you can only help people who wants to help themselves. Because my teaching is not about making people depend on me, but teaching them how to be independent and how to be able to help themselves, their children, and their family.
Mm-hmm.
And this is my intention about rising the consciousness and understanding who we truly are, to empower people to become a powerful co-creator of their own destiny.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. Well said. Okay. And as we wrap up, is there any final takeaways or any final words that you want our listeners to hear from you?
I just want to say, by rising our individual consciousness, we rise the consciousness of the world. If we want to see the end of the wars, if we want to see different world, the world filled with love, unity, and acceptance and understanding, we have to begin from personal transformation. There is no other way. As Rumi, who was a very, very famous poet in Middle Ages, said, when I was young, I wanted to change the world. When I become older, I began with myself. We cannot change the world, which has nothing to do with others. We can only begin with ourselves. But each of us is a powerful, magical light. And the moment we change something within us, even just a tiny bit, the whole world changes. And I will make another visual analogy, something that people will maybe remember forever. If you take a kaleidoscope and you look through it and you tilt it a tiny bit to the left, the whole picture changes. If you tilt it tiny bit to the right, the whole picture changes. Exactly the same like us. If the consciousness can change one thought in your head, and this thought goes into collective without us knowing about it, the whole world is changed already. So don't think of yourself as not being powerful, not being enough, and not being heard. Universe hears everything. Everything is heard. And if we want to put stop to all the wars, to all the struggles, we are the Jewish people that hold the light. And our light is very powerful. And we are here to spread the light.
Thank you so much, Diana Esther, for sharing your light with us here, and for sharing your wisdom and your light and your experiences, your story so generously. And I just, I feel so good about our conversation, and really feel like you've opened my heart more. And I hope that, our listeners will enjoy it as well. You have wonderful energy, and I thank you so much for being here today. So I'm going to stop the recording if that's okay.
Thank you, Ruthie.
And we can just check in on, okay, stop